Hello and welcome to the Radio Scilly video news. Sign up to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Radio Scilly. The clock is ticking until the 24th of July, when 3 islanders will set off on a 10,000-mile rally in a souped-up car from Goodwood to Mongolia. Nick Mackey, Will Ash and James Druce are undertaking the challenge to travel the distance with 199 other entrants in 28 days. They're doing it for Tresco's favoured charity, the Cystic Fibrosis Trust. James says they've been talking to former participants to gain tips on what to do and what not to do.
We've tried to get a good idea of what we're going to be facing. Spoke to about 20 or 30 teams, particularly some teams from Cornwall, who've given us a good idea of what to expect and what sort of challenges they've gone through.
Such a long trip requires preparation, and Nick says they're going to have to take some spares with them.
Spare springs, exhaust bits and pieces, alternators, a fuel pump. Yeah, we've got sort of most of the bits that you can't really replace for a European car when you're in Asia. I mean, some bits, if they break we have to weld them to fix them, but we have got springs and a spare fuel pump and bits that we'd really be stuck with if we're trying to find them out there.
But it's against the spirit of the challenge to try and take everything you require with yourself, and teamwork and fixing problems with other entrants is all part of the challenge.
Not a great deal, because I mean, at the end of the day, the sort of philosophy of the rally is you get breakdowns and you get stuck, and you have to interact with the local community and people you meet on the way to help sort of get the car fixed and back on the road and get going again. But we put a sump guard on it so we don't get sort of any unnecessary bangs underneath the engine, and slightly bigger wheels, so hopefully we won't get quite so many punches. There's not too much you can do, but hopefully we've done enough.
A separate company's arranged all the visas and paperwork, which is important because some of the paperwork is hard to arrange, particularly going through areas like Kyrgyzstan. So far, islanders have brought in donations towards their fundraising initiative to the tune of £2,530. You can go to scillymission.com to find out how to support them if you want to make a donation. Now, the lads will be driving in shifts and they'll have to run through the night on the 28-day journey.
Yeah, I think what we're gonna try and do in 2 hours driving, 2 hours in the back for a bit of a rest, and then 2 hours in the front, and just keep it see how that goes for a while, and then if not, we'll change it. But it should be quite spaced out, so it's not going to be like we're going to be driving, one person going to be driving for a whole day. So, but obviously there'll be times when it's if you're quite happy driving at a nice long road, then we'll carry on. But it should be 2 hours. How many is that over the day?
The road conditions, particularly in Asia, aren't the best, and Nick says buying fuel will be a challenge for the team once they leave Europe.
Obviously in Europe there aren't going to be too many problems, but when we're out in Asia, it's normally sort of hand-pumped fuel out of sort of behind chicken wire fences, sort of just got to sort of look out for it when you get to towns and villages, ask them where the fuel pump is and hopefully get pointed in the right direction, although the quality of the fuel's debatable.
James is watching the political situation in some of the countries en route, and he says there are some areas of concern.
You've got the big the civil unrest going on between Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan at the moment, and it does affect a long part of the country that we'll be going through. So we'll just make sure the doors are locked and we drive quite fast through there.
You've read up on this, haven't you?
Yeah, every day.
But there are some parts of the run that James is particularly looking forwards to.
I think the Pamir Highway, it's the second highest road in the world. It's going through Tajikistan. You go up to about 16,500 feet, but it skirts the Afghanistan border for a few hundred miles, and apparently the scenery's just, you can't beat it.
One of the critical alterations has been the installation of a music system and iPod to keep their spirits up on the mammoth mission.
We've got an iPod. The iPod is full of Mackey's choice of music, unfortunately, so we don't know what it's going to be like. But
the best, no top 40 stuff.
What are you going to make them listen to then on the journey?
I don't know. Well, I've got a bit of everything, as long as there's some talent involved, I don't mind listening to it. But if they're after top 40 hits from Britney and Christina, they're not going to get them.